White House toils amid multiple crises on Labor Day, a worsening COVID-19 pandemic, with the added concern of the impact of the Delta variant on kids, the fallout from the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan, and new concerns over jobs growth are weighing on the administration after a tough summer. New complications over passing the president's sweeping infrastructure and social program, and a shocking move by Texas to all but outlaw abortion are exacerbating an extraordinary menu of crises. Presidential ratings often fluctuate, but keeping in healthy territory is critical for Biden and his Democratic Party ahead of the midterm elections next year that will decide whether his presidency is constrained by Republican majorities in the second half of his term. The new dip in his standing suggests the GOP, which struggled to wow the Biden presidency up until now, may be gaining some traction. Or possibly, the relentless crises of recent months may now be catching up to Biden. A difficult fall looms in COVID-19 fight. I would be absolutely clear. No one's going to get boosters until the FDA says they are approved, until the CDC Advisory Committee makes a recommendation. What we want to do, though, is be ready as soon as that comes, Klain said. We are still hopeful that at least one of the vaccinations could be available that day, he added. The government's top infectious diseases expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, explained that while Pfizer's data seems to have satisfied regulators, Moderna might be a little behind, which may lead to a sequential rollout of the boosters. Any confusion over vaccines at this point is unwelcome. The dwindling but still sizable minority of Americans who are refusing to take the shot may take an even more unfavorable position toward government scientific advice without strong, clear messages. Another unpleasant aspect of a pandemic that never seems to end concerns America's school kids. As more schools return to in-person learning, more children are getting infected with COVID-19. And parents are being driven to distraction by the thought of their offspring returning to unsafe environments. In some states, cultural wars over masking are making the experience even more fraught. Vaccines are not expected to be available for children younger than 12 until late in the year, or even early next year. So a grim fall and winter is in prospect. Still, Fauci said earlier on Sunday on CBS that data so far did not suggest that Delta was not more severe in children than adults. White House confident despite economic storm clouds. In a moment of apparently unintended irony, Congress set Labor Day on Monday as the date of expiration for extended federal unemployment benefits, which were intended to help Americans who lost work in the pandemic. The deadline is coinciding with more discouraging news from the labor market, after new data announced Friday found the economy created 235,000 jobs last month, many fewer than expected following a strong performance the previous month. The figures were a sign that the Delta variant is hitting the service sector, raising the prospect of a slowing of the overall recovery. The president insisted, however, last week that the economy was thriving, noting that the unemployment rate was down to 5.2%. What we're seeing is an economic recovery that is durable and strong, he said. But Americans still looking for work are not getting more help from Washington. We think the jobs are there, and we think the states have the resources they need to move people from unemployment to employment, Klain said on State of the Union. So far, none of the states have said they will use federal relief funds to extend those benefits, as Biden has suggested they could. Biden's agenda again on a knife edge. It's not just the economy. The chief of staff's wide-ranging interview with Bash underscored the breadth of challenges facing the administration. If I had a nickel for every time someone's told me this package has been dead, I would be a very, very rich person, Klain said. We have worked with Senator Manchin at every step of the way. We're going to work together to find a way to put together a package that can pass the House, that can pass the Senate, that can be put on the president's desk and signed into law. A week after the US ended its longest war, Klain said the government was regularly in touch with around 100 Americans who had indicated they wanted to leave Afghanistan but could not be rescued before Biden's August 31st deadline for the US to withdraw from the country. Republicans have hammered the White House over the plight of this group. But Klain vowed the administration had not given up on them, nor the thousands of Afghans eligible for special immigrant visas after helping US forces for 20 years, often as translators. We're in close communication with our sources and our contacts in Afghanistan to try to get those SIVs out, to get them out safely, Klain said. I know that some are coming out by land. We are again continuing to work on efforts to get them out by air as well. Given the Taliban's control of Afghanistan's exit ports, and the fear that the fundamentalist group will take reprisals against those who help the US, it remains unclear how those Americans and Afghans will be able to leave. A senior State Department official said last week that the majority of Afghans who worked for the US since 2001 had been left behind in the evacuation. Biden has instructed his Justice Department and his Gender Policy Council at the White House to seek ways to respond to the law to make sure women in Texas still have access to abortions, but so far, the specifics have been lacking. "We are going to find ways to make a difference for the women of Texas to try to protect their constitutional rights," Klain told Bash. But like the pandemic, the unemployment situation and the fate of Americans in Afghanistan, the new showdown over abortion is a crisis likely to evade quick, simple remedies the White House can use to make a big difference.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe,